Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am sipping on some chai, but I actually I customized it and I added the vanilla and a little bit of hazelnut, and it's so good, so good. Usually I just do vanilla, but honestly the combo is slapping, like that Will Smith slap. Anyways, today's video is going to be another story time for you guys. I'm feeling comfy and cozy. The weather's been kind of like weird where I am, so yeah. But yeah, pull up a chair and get yourself some chai or something that you enjoy, and let's just kind of like, you know, talk about this situation. So I remember being a freshman. I think I was either a freshman or a sophomore. I think I was like maybe like first semester of sophomore year it might have been, or maybe my last semester of freshman year. I don't exactly remember, but I was taking this class, and it was a class that was like specifically targeted for my major, which is communications and digital media. And I'm in this class, and I had a friend, and I was sitting at the desk with her, and we both like sat towards the front of the classroom. And I only sat there because like she was sitting there, so I was like, oh yeah, like I'll sit with my friend, because usually I would just like sit towards the back. So anyways, I'm sitting here. The blackboard is basically right in front of us, like right here where I'm like pointing towards on the side. It was literally like right in front of us. And so this professor was a little interesting to begin with. So like as you kind of like listen to the rest of the story, you'll kind of understand like why it felt so uncomfortable and weird for me, and also my friend. So one day we were doing like this exercise in class where basically he was like, oh, you know, everybody comes up and like read, I think it was like something on a worksheet that he had handed out or something like that. And everyone is obviously sighted, and so they were required to make eye contact with someone in the classroom. So he goes through everybody, my friend, he goes through the people in the back, everyone else in the classroom, right? Then he comes to me at the end, and he stands in front of the desk, like right in front of me, and he goes, Gabby, would you like to try? Now, mind you, I've already had conversations with him about accommodations and the fact that like, well, you know, I'm blind, and I guess it just slipped his mind once more. And so I didn't know what to say. And I think the rest of the people in the class were like trying to like tell him like, sir, like that's not possible right now. Like you cannot, or at all, like it's not possible for her to do that. So literally the only thing I could come up with to do was say, he kept asking me, and I'm like, for my blind viewers, I'm pointing to my eyes. I was just like, he's like, what? I'm like, and he just kept asking me, and I'm like, sir, I'm blind. How do you expect me to make eye contact with people in the classroom? He's like, oh, you could just try. I'm like, excuse me? He goes, yeah. Just come up to the front of the class, and, you know, someone, I guess, will make eye contact with you, and therefore you will make eye contact with that person. What? How does that make any sense? Any sense? My friend was sitting next to me, and she goes, Professor, like, you know she's blind. Like, that's not possible. Like, she cannot possibly make eye contact with anybody in this classroom. I got so upset because I'm like, how many times do we need to have this conversation, you know? Like, how many times is this gonna be like a repetitive, constant reminder that like, hey, I can't see. Literally, I am blind. I am completely blind. I cannot see a thing in front of me. And you expect me to make eye contact with someone who's maybe further in the back of the classroom, and yet I can't even see anybody that's standing in front of me? What? So anyways, that was when the class started to end. And this is when like my former accessibility director was still working at the school. So like I stormed into her office. I was like, Katie, I'm upset. And she's like, what's wrong? I'm like, that professor, because she already knew what professor I was talking about, because like she had my schedule, she already knew. And her and I were like really close. So she already knew everything. So I was like, listen, like I'm really mad. And she's like, what's wrong? She's like, you could close the door if you need a vent. I was like, okay, close the door. I sat down and I was like, listen, I was in that class and he asked me to make eye contact with him or someone in the class. And she literally, this is what she would do whenever she'd get mad. She'd be like, I'm like, yep, She'd be like, oh, Gabby. I'm like, yep. So that was a little fun exercise that involved a lot of visual cues, and therefore I just didn't speak to that professor moving forward in the semester. And I honestly will advise anybody that is currently going into college or is dealing with professors who are very now that I'm done with school, I guess I could say that he's very stupid. Then the way to solve that is to simply be like me, have an attitude, and find someone that you can actually report him to, because honestly, it's one thing if you forget that someone's blind. It's another thing if you still continue to ask that person to do something that's literally impossible for them, especially seeing that there's someone that doesn't have any sort of visual, cues or can see anything at all. So report it. And I think this is one of the hard parts about my college from when I was there. Like Katie was great, and there was a bunch of other people that I really, really love and like I'm still friends with and like care so much about and support. But like with him, I told her and we had to have this meeting again. And it's like, it wasn't her fault. It was his fault, because it was really a matter of like, how are you forgetting? And I get it. Like if you're a professor who has so many students that like, excuse me. If you're a professor who has like a lot of students and like, you forget that like, oh, like this person has accommodations and like this person has like a physical disability or a learning disability, then like at that point you're just being rude by basically saying, oh yeah, never mind the fact that you are disabled or have any sort of disability, I still expect you to participate and do the exercise that I'm asking of you. And so me and my friend were like really upset, because we're just like, what does he expect you to do? Like magically be able to see once you stand up in front of the classroom? I don't know, you guys. I had some situations, and if you want to hear more about my college experience, let me know. But yeah, that's my crazy story time, and that is what I don't know. It was one of those moments where I was like, oh wow, like that is really what happened, So I don't know what to tell you guys, but I'm just happy to be done with school, because I don't have to deal with professors that don't want to be accommodating or faculty that don't want to be accommodating. So yeah. Anyways, if there's any videos that you guys want to see, be sure to comment down below, and check out my last video linked somewhere on the screen and in the description. I'll see you guys. Like I said last time, I won't see you guys, but you know, yeah, I'll be there. So bye.